all over again there, Gordon. Okay. Go ahead, Gordon.
Okay, thank you, David.
Hmm.
Um, Thank you, Stanley. Welcome, everyone, to our newest Zoom retrieval meditation. And I wish you the best of energy as you move into this group exercise that we're so familiar with at this point. And I'm sure you can all do it quite well, but would probably rather I did a verbal introduction. So here I'll go. Here we all are together in this eternal moment, separated for the time being from the recent past and whatever regrets or annoyances that may have held for us, and not yet into the future that's about to arrive with all its challenges, shall we say. So here we are in the eternal moment right now, ready to project up out of our physical bodies and into the etheric and astral realms, where we will ascend from our physical body up through the ceiling of the room that we are in, the roof of the building that we are in, and out into the open air above. And when you are comfortable with that new position in the free air above your community, allow yourself to move in whichever direction, past, future, up on any level of the astral that you feel attracted to, whether it be low, medium, or high, and move into an exploration where I'm sure you will find beings to interact with. And if you encounter beings that need some assistance, I know that you can all handle that challenge. And at this point, I'm thinking you're all refining your abilities, and that's great. So keep that in mind. You're not a newbie anymore. You're experienced, and let that experience guide you. And with that, I wish you a little farewell, and we'll come back together again in about 15 minutes.
Sorry to bother everyone, but it's time to start coming back now.
Okay. Thanks, David.
Sure.
Okay. If you're still involved in an interaction, please don't let my words put you off. Come back when you're ready to come back. And if you are in the process of returning now, make sure you bring all your energetic bits and pieces back with you. Try not to leave anything behind.
Looks like we got everybody.
Okay, thanks everyone. Glad to see you're all back. And David, would you like to lead off the
Sure.
discussion?
Okay. Does anybody have to, if anybody's got to leave early, you can start. If not, anybody got to go early today? Adrian? Yeah, why don't you go ahead and start, okay?
Yeah, so after tuning in, I find myself on a seashore and I met this guy. I think he has drowned and at the sea, and also he was drunk. Uh, so he was in a confused state, walking around, and so I was talking to him, trying to take him up to date, and an interesting thing happened. Like I had this insight or intuitive nudge, or that I can lend him my clarity and presence of mind, like somehow transfer it directly to him. It wasn't like verbal, just a quick hit, like I can do this. I don't even know how it came to me, but I did it in the moment, and it worked. He moved out of his confusion, and then I told him that what happened to him, and there is a place where he can plan his next stage of what he can do next. And he agreed, and someone came, and it was one of his friends. So I thought the guide will come, but it was one of his friends, and they were happy to see each other. This guy wasn't too old, maybe in his 40s, the one who died. And then they left, and that was it for today.
Do you have any kind of idea on where the location where it might have taken place, or was it in your country or a different country, or
No, it's
you know?
different. We don't have a seashore here in Hungary.
Mm-hmm. I see. It's good that you tried out this thing that you mentioned in your mind that you could talk to him that way. It's a new thing, isn't it?
It's not even talking, it's like a transference of an ability, like or
Oh, I see.
quality. Like he was confused and it just
Hmm.
came to me. Why not I wasn't thinking it, but it's kind of a feeling that why not give him my clarity and presence of mind? Can it
Hmm.
be done?
Ah.
And it seemed it could be done because I done it in the moment and it worked. So I was really surprised, and I don't know how I came to this idea, or this it
Mhm.
just clicked.
It's gonna be in your bag of tricks or whatever. Another thing that you can
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
Should be interesting to see if you can use it again in the future.
yeah. Gordon, have you ever come across something like that?
I'm trying to think, Adrian. I can't think of anything exactly like that. I've certainly experienced projecting my consciousness into someone else's to try and sort of wake them up. but not specifically to remedy a state of confusion with a state of calm stability. So thanks for that.
Something comes to me now, like I think maybe I can do this because I'm doing this all the time with my mother, even though it's not like she's confused often, and I do things to calm her and to bring her to presence, to orient her. Like it's become second nature to me by now. So maybe that's why. So yeah, I didn't, but I didn't have to talk. I didn't have to talk to him to do that. It was just an automatic thing.
Yeah, I can see how that would give you the example, doing it with your mother and then doing it with the spirit. Sure.
Well, I think it can be done. Maybe you can try it once. I would be very curious if someone can do this, but why not? If it works, it works.
Sure.
So let me
Yeah.
say, now try doing it with your mother without talking.
Well, yeah, I do talk to her, but yeah, this was a
Wouldn't that
bit
be
different in that sense.
If I could just add something here, I saw that orb again, Adrian, go across your face on an angle. Maybe it happened
Really?
at the same time or whatever that you were doing this. But I just remember I just went like this because it came through on an angle like that, but it was the same orb that I saw last session with you. So
I
there is
really
something
wonder.
there
Yeah, I
that
really
you're
wonder
working.
what this orb is like. Or no,
Yeah.
who is this orb?
Who is this orb? But maybe he's got something to do with it as well. Just wondering. Could be spirit. Anyway,
Well,
that was it.
definitely look at the video when it comes out. And just remember, Adrian was the first one to talk, so it should be easy to find.
Yeah, it should be. It's a small one. It's a small little white orb, but it just comes across his face and just goes down like this. Just goes down, zip, right down. So hopefully you guys can see it.
Okay, I will check it out if it's on YouTube. Thank you for that. That's very interesting. This orb keep coming back.
It is, it is. You're welcome.
Well, thanks, Adrian. That was good. Gordon.
Yes. Oh, my turn. Okay.
Yeah.
I asked, I put out this request for something unusual this time, almost as if I was a little bored with whatever I thought a regular retrieval was. It was very spontaneous. And they said, okay, we got some stuff for you, something you should have been getting to a long time ago. And it turned out to be, I guess, what we would call ancient Egypt. And I know from my own regression work years ago, mentioned in my book, Your History, it was some kind of, in at least one or two lives, some kind of a temple priest in Egypt. And one of the things we did with the school of initiation, if you would call it that, I don't know quite what they called it, but there was an exercise or a ritual that we do with aspirants who would come for training. And the height of the training would be they'd be put into a sarcophagus for 3 days to see how well they could project out of their body. And we thought we were doing the right thing. It was a little rough in terms of some people didn't pull it off, and some definitely died while they were in there, and of course others were successful. They experienced a projection, but I was guided to the spirit of a disciple or an aspirant who had died in the sarcophagus at some point, and not only did me as part of the priesthood regard, we were pretty rough. I don't mean we abused people, but we had high senses of discipline, and I felt that he was something of a failure. And that shows the kind of compassion we were lacking at the time. And the aspirant himself felt like a failure. And how that managed to imprison him in a dark place for all these hundreds of years, I'm not quite sure. But like all these, retrievals where we go back hundreds and hundreds of years, one is never quite sure how that is accomplished. We just know that it happens. So I, I made myself known to this man who was, in a dark place, filled with negativity and self-loathing, and encouraged him to come with me to a paradise where he would be a lot happier. And I think he was pretty charmed at being asked because he felt like he wasn't worthy for that sort of thing. And I was grateful he felt that way because I think part of his self-loathing was laid into him by me in my former life as a priest, and where I was, I don't know, I had the knowledge, but I didn't have quite enough compassion. Anyway, so I dealt with that, and it didn't seem to take long. You might think, oh, something like that might take forever. It didn't seem to take long. He was ready to move on, and I was able to assist him to an afterlife that was modeled on the ancient Egyptian belief system.
That's
So
really
then
something that you went back that far in time.
I know it's amazing. In my second book, I go back, that's More Adventures in Eternity, and I find myself going under the ground to retrieve the body and soul of one of the Viking marauders that came to Britain in the 8th century. And they were really tough guys. And they showed up in boats and just killed everybody, raped all the women, burnt everything down. And it's well recorded in British history. And we developed back then in 800 AD, we developed various kinds of magic. And I was a participant in that. And one of the things we did was once a Viking warrior was killed, we would put him in the ground in a sort of, not physically, astrally, in an astral jail from which he could not escape. Because they had the, the muscles and the aggressiveness and, the weapons. And we had psychic abilities. So back then, I found myself retrieving a Viking spirit, and that's way back. That's 20 years ago, and I talk about it in that book. So I'm aware that these things can be done, but I hadn't done anything like that in a long time, David.
Mhm.
And here we are. I'm doing it today.
Yeah.
So again, I was really surprised when not that it happened, but that it was easy to do. I thought, well, this is going to be difficult, but it wasn't. So then I asked for something a little more contemporary, and they got me on to a couple of guys' overdoses on fentanyl, which, as we all know, seems to happen every hour of every day in any major center, and it seems to have affected lots of rural small towns as well, from what I'm reading. And lots of people are dying. And so I retrieved a couple. And the little trick I did was, and you know how we've often talked about wanting to take people to whatever version of the afterlife that we think they're going to be attracted to. And that's fine. But with these guys, I suddenly thought, oh no, let's take them to a place where they can get some really good pure fentanyl. So I said that to the first guy. He went, oh yeah, great. So I took him to, an astral reception center where they're play acting that game, and as we all know, helpers are very good at play acting whatever they think that class of person needs. And so I think they put them in a sort of a clinic room, and almost like giving methadone to heroin addicts, they give them some kind of thought form fentanyl that gets them high, but does, well, obviously it can't kill them, but it makes them happy for a while, and they eventually wean them off. So I did that with one, and like I say, there was no doubt when I sort of came on like this sort of street guy going, yeah, you want some good fentanyl, man? The guy goes, his face lit right up. And I never thought of doing that before. Never.
You're quite busy today.
Well, it's funny, Dave. All three of those, there was two of the fentanyl guys. It all happened quite quickly, and then I come back, and I notice we've still got about 5 minutes to go. So I'm sort of sitting watching your face to make sure, that I'm going to be in on the return. So anyway, that's what happened to me today.
Yeah. That's got some fascinating stories today. Experiences.
You're becoming an astral dealer.
It's pretty funny, and like I say, I had not thought of doing that before with dead heroin addicts that I've talked about retrieving. Sometimes you have a heck of a time convincing them that they're dead, and then once you do, they don't really want to leave because they're kind of waiting for the dealer to come around with the next hit, even though they're dead. They don't really know it, so they can take a while. And with these guys, it was almost like I'd found the key to the mystery, which I'd never thought of before. Because you think, well, that's the wrong thing to do, to offer them more drugs. But on the astral plane, drugs are just a thought form, just like everything else.
It's another tool that you can use in the future if you run into one of these guys.
You're right there.
I will remember this.
Well, guys, it's like the various times, remember the dead cyclist that I retrieved, and we wound up at some sports place on the astral plane, and right in front of a bicycle club where they're about to go on a trip, and the guy says to her, "Hey, you want a bike?" And he goes behind the shed and brings out a really expensive looking bike. And the dead cyclist lady is just like thrilled to bits to get this really expensive bike. And I didn't think that. The guy, the contact guy did.
Okay, thanks, Gordon.
Sure.
Who'd like to go next? Okay, Priscilla.
Well, I'm inspired by Gordon's talk here. And maybe I did a little bit of what he did. This is different than the other stories I've told. Any case, I did the Robert Monroe navigation gateway tapes. So I know about the park. What is that? Focus 27 or something, the park.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, every now and again I find myself at the park. So I found myself at the park. And I said, well, is this the Robert Monroe Park, or is this just a nice park? Well, I didn't worry about it. So there I was at my favorite spot there, which was at the shore of a lake. And lo and behold, if my power animal, my horse, wasn't there to greet me. So he's standing there drinking water, and it's beautiful, pure water. So I have some water out of the lake, beautiful, pure water. And so then we decide I get on the horse, and there's a trail around the lake. So we take a little horse ride around on the trail, down the trail through the woods. And I see a picnic table off toward the left, toward the lake. And there's about 4 people sitting around this picnic table. So I go over and I talk to them. And lo and behold, they want to ride my horse.
They want to ride your horse?
They wanted to ride my horse.
Okay.
So I said, no, I gave some lame excuse. No, my horse doesn't feel good, or I don't know, you can't ride my horse. But I did say, hey, come with me. I know where there's a stable and there's a lot of horses, and you can ride those horses. And it's not far from here. So we all walked down to the stables. And they found horses. They got on the horses and rode away and waved to me goodbye.
That's a retrieval.
I don't know what it is. So then I turn around, my horse and I turn around and retrace our steps and go back up the trail. And there's still somebody sitting there at the picnic table. So I go over and talk to them, and they say, I didn't want to ride. I don't ride horses. I didn't want to go down to the stables. I wasn't interested in riding horses. But where am I anyway? So I said, well, you died, and this is where people hang out until we get more instructions on where you're going to go next. Oh, okay. I said, do you want me to stay and keep you company? No, I'm fine. It's nice here. So then we left. So I don't know what that was, but it was very pleasant, all very pleasant. Nobody was distressed. Well, it was the park. Did people arrive at the park distressed?
I would say not usually, Priscilla, because the park is on Focus 27, and distressed people often go to a slightly lower level in the Monroe way of looking at things.
Right, right. So these people were in a good frame of mind.
Uh-huh.
And
They may have arrived. I know well, for example, Cynthia and I are rereading the books of Bruce Moen, and he talks a lot about taking people to the park and other things. And he'll often mention in various retrieval situations, people are guided to the park either by somebody that's visible like him or an invisible guide, because they sense that a kind of a non-denominational place, it would suit this person. Like, they're not Protestant, they're not Catholic, they're not Muslim, they're not evangelical. So anyway, but what he mentions a few times is that they don't tell everybody like all the little tricks. Like he mentioned, there's a couple of occasions where he mentions um, playing tennis with people, and they go, oh, yeah, that'd be nice. Let's have a game of tennis. And the park got all those kind of facilities, and but he doesn't tell them that you can guide the tennis ball with your mind. They sort of play like this regular tennis until there's some kind of funny shot that goes where they want it to, except they didn't realize that that's what they wanted. They thought they were using their old tennis skills. And he mentioned several examples of that, where people are guided there and they're allowed to enjoy themselves without being given like an instructional course, if you know what I mean. So
well,
the same with the horse riding. They may have been happy quite there, but nobody had said, "Oh, you want to go horse riding? We got that over there." You were the one that said it to them.
yeah, I wasn't going to let him ride my horse. I had to come up with something.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So,
Priscilla, thanks for telling us about that place, the Monroe place, whatever number it is that you said.
27.
The park.
27, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of this many times and I've read Monroe's books and all that, but I've never been there. But you did. So you've told us all what it's like. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was really cool, Priscilla.
Thanks.
Okay.
That was nothing.
Mark or Denise, do you have anything for us today?
I don't. This has probably been the first time I didn't really get anybody, even though
Mhm.
I went up and I was asking and asking. There was a fellow that went by on a train, but don't have time to stop. I'm busy and he just zoomed past, but nobody. And I kept
Okay.
asking and nobody came through. So I'm afraid I got nothing. So
Yeah.
Denise, you're up.
Well, I didn't really have a retrieval, but I had a interesting experience. I believe what happened was a trance healing. I felt like a real when Gordon went into the, when we went into the circle, I got, I felt real strong. And then interesting enough, my dog Jax came up to me and put his back up to my left shoulder, and then put his upper back in his head and wrapped it around my head. And he's never done that before. And when he did it, he made like he went like, and then he made like a couple of gastronic noises, right? And I was like, that's interesting. And I just felt like he was in my aura. And next thing you know it, I start feeling an electronic pulsation throughout my entire body. And then Jax's body starts convulsing and convulsed for quite a few minutes. I was locked in. I couldn't move. I didn't feel like I was in my room. You know what I mean? I don't know where I was, but I did not feel like, I was in my room. It was like space behind or black, it was like just the two of us or something. And that went on for quite a while. And then I had some visitors come in from my neighborhood that I just recently sold my house in. They came in, with just mediumship. It doesn't have to do with this, but yeah, that's the impression I was getting. What was happening between me and Jax? It was atypical of a trance healing.
Mhm.
I kind of felt like, have you ever had a TENS? Have you ever gone to a chiropractor and had a TENS treatment on your lower back, where a TENS unit?
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah,
I've heard of it before.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So, and that can happen to me sometimes. And that happened to me to the entire time with my dog, and he just and I know he was not liking it. He was convulsing, like his body was shaking and shaking. But I couldn't do anything about it because I couldn't move anyways. And it took me a while until I turned my video off, is how long it took me to come back. But yeah, so that was a healing for him, right, Marge?
Yes, I was going to say he was protecting you. He was protecting you.
Okay.
And so I think he was taking on some of your energy if he was convulsing a little.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So he recognized that you needed protection at that time.
Okay.
And that's what I feel. I feel that he was wrapping his body around you. He was doing a full protection, and he was receiving some of your energy, I guess, that was being dispelled.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I definitely felt like, like our auras had overlapped. And it was interesting because I'm in a channeling circle, and that was earlier today. And I'm I'm going to be encountering one of my ex-husband next week. And
Oh,
he came in this meditation. All of a sudden, I did a movement that he normally did. I'm like, what is that? And then this feeling came over me, and then I realized, oh, that his aura was in my aura. So I told myself, bring it in. I got to bring myself in. And I think Tucker Jax picked up on that my aura was open. Something
yeah.
like that brought it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Wow.
interesting, yeah, because I had that happened to me earlier in the day, and then just now that happened. So that was interesting. Yeah.
Mm.
Were these visitors that came in, you said, was that part of your meditation, or did they actually come in physically? These visitors that you talked about.
No. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, they came in through, right. They came in visually and clairaudently through my mediumship. I,
Hmm.
something came in around the name Beth, around the name Elizabeth, and the next thing I know it, um, my neighbors. There's something that my team wants me to do, and it's around my old neighborhood.
Oh,
And I recently went through something that they want me to share, but I shared this experience with somebody from that neighborhood.
I see.
So it's a situation that I'm on the fence about because they have like um Team Donald and Team Not Donald. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
the kind of situation I'll find myself in. And do I want that energy? So I push back and they keep pushing me. So, it came in. Oh, and this is what it ended with though. And I'm like, what does this have to do with soul retrieval? Other than it was wonderful what happened, what would happen, my experience with Jax. And what I got was follow the breadcrumbs. And I'm like, what? And they're like, to be continued. And
Mm-hmm.
David's like, it was like, and I'm like, I had to come back. You know what I mean? I was trying to pull myself back and whatever have you. But yeah, they said, follow the breadcrumbs and to be continued. So,
I see.
because I started thinking, I'm like, is there somebody from the neighborhood? Is there somebody from the neighborhood trapped? And I always have this lurking feeling that the house that I sold, the owners that I bought it from, the husband died in the house. And I had a lot of electrical experiences in that house that were amazing. And so, I don't know. I think there could be a I think there could be a soul retrieval of somebody from the neighborhood
Yeah.
that I grew up in, that they're, teaching me, as I go, because you grow and you learn and, that. So it was interesting. It was a very
Yeah.
interesting, meditation. And
Denise,
yeah.
sorry, sorry, these people that have bought your house before, have they, was it ever smudged?
Yes. Well, it was smudged when I lived there because
Okay,
I mean, now I've sold it. There's new owners there.
right.
But no, because I
Yeah.
had my awakening during the sale of it. Like I had my awakening in 2019 going into 20. And so I lived there for 21 and 22. So yeah, I mean, I saged it and
Okay.
yeah, in all of that. But I do know that there's tales of somebody in a car at the bottom of the lake in the neighborhood. So a lot of history goes with that neighborhood.
Wow.
There's I'm sure there's a lot of souls. There's a lot of living souls that need retrieval from that neighborhood, and a lot of on the other side.
Right. Okay.
That's a book in itself. The subdivision was called Friars Cove, and it definitely was part of my plan, and I definitely will be writing about that neighborhood someday, and hopefully I do a retrieval on it, and I'll include that in it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Denise.
Yeah, thanks, Denise. That was very interesting.
I got a couple things that I want to say. And I told you before that I have retrievals a couple ways. I have them in these meditations like we did today, and I also have them in dreams, about half and half. And I had one in a dream on Saturday. Before I tell you about that, last night, I'm dead asleep and with my wife's next to me sleeping, and at 2 a.m, I felt like somebody or something was next to me, standing next to me, looking at me in my bed. And I was dreaming that, and I woke up, and it was there for like 1 second, and then disappeared. And like this has happened to me my whole life. I haven't had one in a while, and I'm so frightened that I almost just make a high pitched squeal. But now, kind of after it's happened and everything, and that since I got involved with this afterlife stuff for about 5 years, studied it all, and been involved with Gordon for a year, but some of this other stuff with this priest that I told you about, I think it's like just a lost soul that knows that I do rescues and might be seeking me out. And instead, I'm going to try, if he comes back or next time it happens again, I'm going to try and not be totally scared and try to talk to them. So that was an interesting thing that happened last night. And then Saturday night, I was sleeping and it was like 10:30 at night. I'd gone to bed early and I had a dream. And I wrote it all down. I had like 4 pages and I've condensed it down to 1 page, and it's like easy for me to explain it. And I don't even know if you'll get it today. It's quite complicated on how it works and how the spirit team works with me with this. But maybe you'll get something out of what I'm going to read right now. So I received a dream on Saturday night, 11/14/2022 at 10:30 p.m. It was a dream sent by the person that needed my help in completing her crossover. So the person that needs my help is coming through me in the dream. I think it's because that's where I can reach my highest frequency. Her name was Sarah or Sandra. Instead of showing me a dream of her traumatic experience, the afterlife takes a similar experience that I have had and creates a dream with it. So they go into my mind, whatever team is over there, it's like a play, and I'm one of the actors, and they go into my mind and they pick out an event that happened to me that's similar on what happened to this lady. And so they use me. And then usually at the end of the whole thing, when I awaken, I can go back in and I can talk to the person that I'm helping and ask questions and that kind of thing. And that's how it went. So I'll continue here. I had a traumatic experience in the past, and the dream was like a movie where I was one of the actors. My dream gave me similar emotions of what Sarah had when her trauma took place. I got to feel how she felt. I believe the dream folks picked me because we had similar past traumas. When I awoke and I laid in bed, I got more information on Sarah. She lived around the time of the early 1900s, where the wife was dominated by the husband in the family. If she objected, she was physically and mentally abused and put down. By telepathy, when I woke up, I learned that Sarah had completed her afterlife therapy by an afterlife therapist, and she was now ready to complete the crossover. And they had basically seeked me to give her confirmation that she's ready to go. Her therapist showed up, the afterlife therapist that had been helping her, and together they went off into the light. And that was my retrieval. So I just bring to you just another way that it happens to me. I don't know why or how, but it seems to work. So that's it for me.
David, when this person or this feeling that you had that there is somebody at the end of the bed looking at
Yeah.
you, do you ever ask them, do you say, who are you? Who are you? Why are you
No,
here?
that's what
Okay.
I want to do. I want
Yeah.
to do that. I'm so
What-
terrified that
Okay.
when I've told myself in the past, next time I'm going to ask them, and it just
Yeah.
happens so fast. And but now that I've thought about it and told myself again that I want to find out who you are, or can I help you, or what do you want? I'm going to see if I can do that, because I know it's going to happen again, because it never stops. It's not that much though. I
Wow.
think maybe it could be because I said it was a lost soul, because in that world they know people like us that'll help them, and
Yes.
they'll come towards us. And I think it might be one of those that knows that I do this thing, and I just react too fast because I'm just too,
Petrified. Yeah.
yeah, from my past experiences, because I didn't never knew about this until like 5 years ago. I always thought it was just a nightmare, but this time I really do think it's some kind of entity, and it could even be a ET too.
Yeah,
I'm not forgetting about that. It could be that.
yeah, yeah. You may recall one of my retrievals was with a Palladian who said, will you help us because there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to make it, that aren't
Yeah,
going to make it.
yeah.
So that could be as
I
well.
would
Yeah,
really like to try. I'd really like to get a connection if I can, and I'll
yeah,
keep you all informed if it does happen.
yeah. Thank you.
And
And
David, you always got to keep like your options open, so to speak, right? For all you
mhm,
know, let's say it's a Palladian, right? Well, you lived a life
yeah,
as a Palladian. So for all you know, it's your higher self coming through as a Palladian. And
yeah,
there's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. That's actually what your higher
yeah,
self looks like, right? So
hmm,
it could be any one of like a billion things, right?
yeah, exactly.
A
I
billion,
always,
yeah.
yeah, I always thought it was something evil, but I don't think it is.
No, I never think. I never go there. I never think that. I don't even open myself up to there. You know what I mean? It's, that's, yeah, you know,
Hmm.
yeah, just embrace it. Yep, like you did.
Yep. Yeah, thanks.
But I understand too in the moment, everybody's like, did you ask who it was? It's like, no, damn it. I know that's, 101. Ask who it is. But,
Yeah, that's what.
you never do. So guilty as charged here also all the time.
So
Well,
I have a friend, an older woman. She just turned 100 recently. She's got psychic abilities and she sees spirits periodically
hmm,
in her bedroom. And she tells me, she says to them, if you are from God, you can stay.
hmm,
If not, God bless you and be gone.
yeah, right.
Oh, oh, that's nice.
And that works for her. And then let me just say, she called me yesterday and she said, I want you to do some research. I saw a lady in white leaving my bedroom. I just saw the back of her. She had a flowing white gown on and she was leaving my room. What, what do you know about ladies in white? Apparitions.
Hmm.
I said, I don't know
Is it,
anything.
has this lady,
Angels.
yeah, has this lady had her abilities for a long time, or just is it
Yeah.
increasing now as she's getting older and getting closer?
No, she's had them a long time.
I
Okay.
see. Okay.
Um, Also, David, you know what is happening with Three Eye Atlas, right? It's getting
Yeah.
closer. It's getting closer. So
Hmm.
you may be getting some of their energy or some energy like that, or maybe we're getting, I know they're talking about a lot of coronas and a lot of flares or whatever. We haven't got the main flare yet. We're going to get one on December 19th, apparently. That's going to change a lot of us. So you might be getting some residuals from this, I'm wondering, and maybe that's why you're getting these kind of dreams. There's a lot more of the veil being lifted now, and people are going to be seeing things that they haven't seen
Hmm.
before. So
Yeah,
having a better,
thanks. It could
but
be.
it's, yeah. Wow.
I
Okay.
was at, I was at the ocean. I live on the coastline, so I try and honor it and and get in as many sunsets as I can. So I went to the sunset Saturday night, and I always have magical things and get really good photography, photographs at the ocean, whatever. So I'm staring at the sun. It's at sunset, and all of a sudden, like this little, almost like thought bubble forms off of it, right? It's like a little cloud right behind it, and it's like magenta. It's like, ooh, is that pink? Well, that's like magenta. I'm like, what is that? Is that like the sun has an aura? Like, does the sun have an aura? Because it looks like an aura. Well, the next thing you know, it turns into like a black cube, right? And it
Hmm.
starts heading towards me, right? And it's all of a sudden I'm like, wait, that's getting closer. What's going on? That's not an anomaly of the after effect just staring at the sun. This is something different. And so you got this black box. The pink cloud turns into this black box. And then next thing you know, it turns into concentric circles, and they're like in a spiral, and they're like coming at me. And some are like a solid color, some are like a frost, some are clear with the neon around them. And there's like, just several of them. I don't know the amount. And I was just like, oh my God, I think I could like almost reach out and touch that. That's like here. That's not, I'm going on all of a sudden. And then my son's like, Mom, are you okay? Because I'm with my son. He's standing right next to me. What's going on? He's like, you got this really weird look on your face, Mom, and you're talking. You know what I mean? And you're talking some stuff. And I'm like, do you see that? I'm like, I don't know, Tyler. I don't know if that was just orbs or what. I'm like, okay, let me see if I can do this again. So I go and I repeat it and I look at the sun, and next thing I know it does the same thing, but now it's like a turquoise color. And then it comes and it does the same thing. It turns into a box, and then it turns in, to the spiral and these concentric circles, and it gets like almost in the same position, right? I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'm like, okay, let's try this one more time. And then I did it. And then it was like a teal color. And then the sun was going down and, whatever have you. So that was super cool. I don't know what that was. I was in a meditation telling them about it. And the girl said she thinks it was, Metatron circles or something like that. I'm like, okay, could be. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Just thought I'd share.
Yeah.
That
I don't know
was
if anybody picks up on that, or if you I try learning not to attach a story to it, just enjoy,
yes.
the beauty, you know what I mean? The beauty of it. That same day I was walking earlier with my dogs, and all of a sudden I hear like all these birds. And then I'm looking at a tree, and I'm like, oh my God, wouldn't it be great if they all flew out at the same time? I know there's all anomalies going on with the birds, and they're all conglomerating, right? And I'm like, nothing's coming out of it. I'm like, okay, and it's getting louder and louder and louder. I'm like, what is going on? All of a sudden I hear look up, and I look up, and above my head there's got to be, I don't know, 300, 400 blackbirds, and they're all just in a circle, and it all just kind of like above my head, and me like a dork. The sun's out, and it's really hard to see your phone when the sun's out. So by the time I like fumble to find my phone and get a video to show somebody that you're not going to believe this, of course it goes away, right? So I'm also trying to learn to just stay present and watch, you know what I mean, and watch that. But that was another really cool thing that happened. And I mean, there was just hundreds of them. They were blackbirds, and they just hovered for a while, more than typical. Let's just say that. We know that they hover, but you just know when it's for you, it hovers a little bit more or something. And you're like, thank you. And you always got to remember to say thank you. Oh, and that's what I wanted to say to you, David. Most importantly, thing to always remember is whoever shows up at the end of your bed in the middle of the night, believe it or not, thank them for coming.
Yes, you're right. Yep. And also, when I do a retrieval, I think there's some kind of team over there, and I thank the team. At least that's my thoughts. Thank you for letting me do this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anybody else have anything for today? Last comments. I'll tell you in the next meetings, and you're going to get emails on this, so don't worry about it. It's always like the first and the third. Although in January it's going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be away, but we're still going to have 2 sessions. But don't even worry about that yet. The next one's December 3rd, and you'll get emails on it. All righty. So we had a lot of good stories today.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. A lot of good stories, a lot of really cool stuff today, and I hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Okay, so we'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you, David.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Gordon.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody.